Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our podcast for our recap of week number 9. We are 2/3 of the way through the season, at least the main part of the season, because then bowl season just sort of like lasts forever, which is great. I kind of look forward to bowl season because these Saturdays are just a glut of games. But on those bowl games days, sometimes you just get like one little present on a Tuesday, and it's the Cure Bowl, and you're like, okay, well, this is good. I can focus my energy on this one bowl game.
Yeah, the Bahamas Bowl is usually during the day, right?
It always, yeah. I mean, it feels like it is.
Yeah.
That feels like spiritually that is a Tuesday at 1 p.m. game, whether
No,
it actually is or not.
I'm sure I've watched it like during work hours before.
With me tonight is Commissioner Escalante and our Florida State Representative Katie. Commish, how was your weekend?
It was a lot of fun. I just got the Apple TV. I got it this week before the game started. So I have this thing called Multiview on the ESPN app. So
That's awesome.
I could watch 4 games at once. I think
Grandpa, tell me about your new toy, Grandpa. Oh, I got the multi-view thing. I got 4 screens, kids.
Jordan is now doing millennial slander. I love this.
Yes, lovely. I'm an elder millennial, so he's slandering my elder millennial self. No, but it was awesome because at one point, I just wanted to say one point of the games on Saturday, I was watching the overtime of Miami and Virginia. One.
God.
I was watching Eastern Michigan versus Toledo in the other screen on the gray field. I had the start of Iowa and Northwestern on the other screen. And then on the other box, I had New Mexico State at UMass. And so it was an absolute beautiful moment in the Apple TV. And I don't even remember what I paid for it. It was like $150 some odd dollars.
Well worth it.
Christmas gift from the wife. She like early Christmas present. Here you go. Enjoy this. And I mean, it paid for itself in basically like at the middle of a Saturday. Yeah, just to have those 4 games going at one time. And it's like the upper, upper right-hand corner was the Eastern Michigan and Toledo. So it was like Toledo in their yellow pants on the gray field. It was just, it was so great. And I'm very thankful for that. That was the highlight of my weekend, having that and just watching all the ESPN games on one screen, and then have the tablets for the other networks and everything. It was awesome.
Was there a warning that came up from like Apple TV or ESPN that was like, "Are you sure this is what you want? You're going to view all of these 4 games?"
Let's rethink it. Let's rethink this, buddy. Can we just do some Big 12 action?
You wanna watch this one? Are you sure? Or like New Mexico State and UMass, and then in the other screen, it's Iowa and Northwestern.
This may be harmful for your health. This may be harmful.
Your eyes may not be able to handle this. Are you sure? They were like, "Are you sure you want this in Dolby Vision?" I was like, "Yes."
Oh, of course I do.
I was like, "Yes, please." I wish that the YouTube TV would have that multi-view. I really long for the days of the PS View, where it had the multi-view, which that went away, and I love that. I could watch like 3 or 4 games at once on like all different networks, and I wish Hulu would do it. YouTube TV, somebody needs to do it. I don't know if Fubo does it, but you have to have the Apple TV for the multi-view. So
I was like, Fubo's doing TV now. Fubu, damn, man.
Right. Fubo.
They send you a big ass jacket. You sit on your couch with your big ass jacket and watch 4 screens of football. Fubo right. TV.
Fubo TV. For us, by us TV. Yes. Definitely. LL Cool J introduces you to every game.
Katie, how was your weekend?
It was great, guys. It was great. I went to the UCF game, the Cincinnati at UCF game. If you invite me to a football game, I'll go. As long as I'm around. So yeah, friends invited me who are big UCF fans.
I have to say, which side were you on this one? UCF?
We were technically on the Cincy side, but we were with UCF fans. I mean, it was pretty much all UCF fans. There was actually a Cincinnati fan right next to me. And there was a point in time where I was convinced that Drew Lachey, Nick Lachey's brother, because they're big Bearcats fans, I was convinced he was sitting in front of me. And then I got a better view and it was not him. But I was very excited at the thought of a little B-list celebrity action.
Got to watch UCF take Cincinnati out. What was their streak that they broke this time?
19? Was it 19 games?
Yeah,
I think it was 19, yeah.
Conference games, yeah.
Yeah. I found myself when I was actually there pulling for UCF. I was rather agnostic to begin with, but it was a fun game to watch. It was a fun game to be at.
I always find myself when I go to games where I'm mostly agnostic, I will trend towards a side by the end. Like,
Yes.
I never stay totally agnostic. I will trend towards a side for whatever reason. But, like, by the end, I'm usually with someone.
I'm incapable of being Switzerland. It's unless we're talking about like next week or this coming week when Florida plays A&M. I don't even know what I'm going to do about that. Yeah.
That's a God. Oh God, I don't know what I'd go there either.
Thank you. See, I've thought about this for a
Yeah.
good 24 hours and I still don't have an answer.
To start with, we want to give a huge shout out. We've had a crazy weekend because we ended up having a great story written about the committee and all that we do in The Athletic, the New York Times sports magazine, by Nicole Auerbach, who's someone who we've listened to for a long time. She's someone who follows us. We followed her for before we started this thing, and then Anish Shroff, who was one of the does play by play for the Panthers, and also was doing the play by play for Northwestern, Iowa, and so we got a shout out in like the preview video for that. And it was just an absolutely great weekend for
You
us.
guys were on game day too, right? They had a little.
Yeah,
They had our graphic up
Yeah.
on Grain Day, yeah.
yeah.
So-
We got to shout out Travis Miller for that one. I think the bear tried to say his name.
Yeah,
He's
forgot
the
it.
one that did the spreadsheet, or he just couldn't remember it or something. But I just want to shout out Travis for that one because again, he is the crazy spreadsheeter that wants to come up with. Again, he doesn't want to do his real job. I don't
I
blame
don't blame him.
I don't blame him, and just come up with crazy Big Ten West scenarios. As soon as like the games ended yesterday, he was back in the spreadsheet mines trying to figure out a way for another 7-way Big Ten West tie. After this one this weekend, his version that we had was no longer valid, so we had to come up with another one. And we may have another one coming out this week. And I do want to thank Nicole Auerbach and then Anish. I mean, really, just leaning into it. Like he mentioned us so many times on the broadcast. It was absolutely insane. There was like a ESPN mobile alert that called it like Sicko Saturday, and I just completely blown away by the attention that the account has gotten.
It's great.
And it's
So much fun.
Oh man, it was just nuts. Like we went, man. I think we gained like 7,000 or 8,000 followers.
Yeah,
this weekend.
easily.
It's. I mean, no pressure on us, right? We're just gonna still be the same old silly.
That's
idiots.
the best. That's the best part.
we
Is
don't
that
have
is
to do
that
anything different.
yeah. The best part is when you get big doing what you're doing. It's easy just to keep doing it because I don't know what else to do. This is just what I am.
I was like, let me change and oh my god, I'm tweeting to a bigger audience now. Like, no, we don't care. Whatever. We're still gonna be idiots and talk about the silly stuff and the fun side of college football.
I through all this, my wife's response after we got the shout out on game day on Saturday morning, my wife's response was, "Hey, our friends are coming into town in 3 hours. We have to clean the house." It's like, yeah, that's true too. So we'll get that going.
I know you think you're a big deal. You've still got chores.
The other thing was I was like, well, okay, I'm in something like New York Times adjacent. I should probably tell my parents about this just to be like, I'm 38, but still want to be like, hey, mom and dad, like I'm doing this thing, and they know that I do a college football thing. They don't know what it is, so I was like, okay, time to explain what this actually is, and walk them through that. But they were as proud as two like aging boomer parents can be about their millennial son being big on the internets, which
Guys,
is about
my parents listen. My parents listen to the podcast every time I send it to them.
So yeah, so this all being said, thank you guys for everything out there because you help us through this. You're the ones cheering us on. You're the ones that we would be doing this with ourselves, but by ourselves, 100%. But getting the response makes us want to do more with it, and it just creates a good, like, positive energy vibe.
My dad's response to me sending him the article, he sent 2 words to me. So I sent him the article, and I told him, I was like, hey, we have a Twitter account, and we just got mentioned in The Athletic. Also, on the New York Times and everything. I sent him the article, and he replied, reading. And then once he was done reading, about like 15 minutes later, he responded with, great.
That's amazing.
The one emotion. That one emotion. Yep, that's God.
Great. That's great.
Yep, that tracks.
At least it wasn't a K. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, It's
Yeah.
got to be better than
Or like the thumbs up on the link, just the thumbs up. Yeah. An
my
actual response. Yeah.
my 90-year-old grandfather, my 91-year-old grandfather. He responded back. He just went, "Nice going, great." So I was like,
There we
I
go.
I
Hey,
got an email back from him with "Nice going, great." I can't wait to see what's next.
we're going to start this week, guys. I'm going to say that my ACC slander was feeling so good this weekend. I was on my phone. I couldn't actually post a graphic, so I made the ugliest one I could with what I had available. And I just was like, ACC slander will continue. Starting us off on Thursday night. Was it Thursday or Friday? The
It was
Virginia Tech
Thursday.
game. That
This
was
is
Thursday,
Thursday
yeah.
night. Yeah.
Thursday. Virginia Tech at NC State. That game absolutely started like the heaviest oatmeal you've ever had. It was warm and dense, and you have a scoop of it, and it just sits in your stomach.
Mm.
Oh man, there was like at my real job, before the pandemic, they had this big old like warmer of oatmeal, and like
Oh,
it was just like a big. It was like you scoop it. It was just like a big old slop of oatmeal, and then you would try to put like a bunch of brown sugar and some like granola and raisins and try to make it edible. And
Mm.
people would go to get that. So yeah, as soon as you said oatmeal, that reminded me of that oatmeal specifically associated with this game.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. The only thing is, oatmeal's supposedly good for your heart. I don't know that this game was good for our hearts.
Well, for us, yes, but for
Maybe.
the team,
It's
the
true.
team, the fans of the team involved, no, it was not.
No.
it
No.
was
can make-
it was almost 0-0 going into half.
Yes.
NC State kicks a field goal with 5 seconds left. 3-0 going into half. And then all of a sudden, everything just came unglued in the third quarter. It wasn't
Mhm.
super high scoring. It
Mm-mm.
only got to 22-21. But after a 0-point first half, it felt
Essentially.
like everything
Yeah.
had opened up.
I don't know what happened here. Like, really, it was just crazy. I think the Virginia Tech fans, we follow a few of them, but they posted a meme, like it was like a 4-quarter meme.
Mhm.
And so it was just like the worst, like just sitting there, like nothing happening, sad picture. And then in the third quarter, they posted 2019 LSU. Because Virginia Tech in 9 minutes they scored 21 points, like they were unstoppable. It was incredible. I was like, what just happened? Like Virginia Tech just like came out of half and just went boom, 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 boom. They're up 21-3, and that was it for Virginia Tech for the rest of the game.
Aim high, Virginia Tech. Aim high. That was a great team.
I mean, 21 straight unanswered.
Unanswered. Okay.
It dropped.
Wow.
It dropped Virginia Tech QB Grant Wells out of the top 15 for Detmer. It put him at 16. He was real close, but his boom 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 performance, while great for the team, did not, however, help him in our most important metric. I think we can all argue here for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun game, honestly.
And
It was very
NC
fun.
State then fired back. I think, did you do the tweet where like this was just the most polite ACC game ever?
Yes.
Where it said like it was just like I'm done with all my scoring. You can score now, and that's
I've-
basically what happened because NC State scored 19 straight unanswered. and
21
122.
21 in a row. 21
Yeah.
unanswered, and
Yeah.
then just stopped. It
Yeah.
reminded me of I don't know how much cricket you've ever watched, but in cricket, in certain kinds of cricket, you do all your scoring at once, and then the other team does all their scoring, and it felt like that. Like they did all their offense. They're like, okay, we're good. Now it's your turn just to try. You get as high as you can. Here's 21, and they were like, well, we can get 22. Okay, well, I guess you win then. You outbid me.
Just
like
a
the
bidding
shitty-
war. It
The
was a bidding war.
shittiest charity auction I've ever seen. $1 bidding up, but it's for the kids. Ooh, can you do $22? I can do 22.
They put in their third stringer, I guess, and he
They
took off.
did.
Like he just went. So
Yeah.
I mean, like the second stringer wasn't doing anything, and then they threw in the third stringer, and he was just on fire. So I'm sure he's probably going to get the start next week for NC State.
Yeah.
Going forward, then we have Southern Miss has beat Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. Southern Miss is having a really good year, like better than we thought. They are not bowl eligible. Like what bowl was that? Said who jumped the
bowl,
gun?
No, I can't remember what bowl jumped. I think it was the Boca Raton roofclaim.com bowl
They jumped the
that
gun.
said Southern Miss, congratulations on being bowl eligible. I had to
Five.
reply to
It's
him.
five.
I was like, hey, they have 5. They may likely get there, but just not yet. I believe they deleted the tweet later. This one had the weird score game, which was amazing. It was, I think it was like 29-5 at one point, because there was like an intentional grounding safety. The
That was that
Cajuns,
was that was such a weird call. Like
yeah,
you don't see it called very often.
no,
And then when you do, it's always like, oh, it's never a really clear one either. This one was definitely marginal at best.
That's amazing.
there was nobody in the area, and I don't know if he was technically out of the pocket, but yeah. So at halftime it was 29-11.
Yeah.
What a score! And the Cajuns came back. They fell short, and Southern Miss takes a pick to the house, makes it look not as close as it was because I mean Southern Miss didn't do really anything in the second half. Just shout out everybody at the Rock there in Hattiesburg. They played neck and they were just singing. Yeah,
By the way, it is Sunday night at 9:30 Central. The Roof Came Boca Raton Bowl still has the post up.
he does.
Congratulating them on being bowl eligible.
Okay, they do
That's
still have
amazing.
it. I thought they deleted. Oh, the bowl season one made a mistake on another team,
Yeah,
and
no,
they deleted it. Okay,
these,
that's what it was.
these guys are not cowards. Surprise, surprise. A sketchy company out of Florida is like, nope, we are
Nope, they are.
absolutely leaving this up.
You guys, one of my old coworkers, who I'm still good friends with, one of his nephew plays for Southern Miss. And I feel like if they go to a bowl, I'm gonna have to figure this out. I might need to go watch. It'll be a really fun bowl game to go to.
On Friday night, so happy. Florida International is 4-4. I can't even explain how big that is for them. It's like this is a team that like their whole program has just been
Yeah.
absolutely gutted for various reasons and bad management. And they're 4-4. The best part was that it was Halloween night and some of the costumes were so adorable. There were like kids in alien costumes, kids in dinosaur costumes. It was great.
It was beautiful. The FIU 4-4 FIU, which is crazy to think of. I mean, really, they were projected to. I mean, really, not even win a game. Essentially,
They were.
maybe
I think their win total was at like 1.
yeah, 1 or 1.5. I think maybe one of the lowest. And I mean, for them to be 4-4, their coach Mike McIntyre, they seem to have found a quarterback too because he was slinging it all over the place. Big kid too. I mean, just throwing it everywhere, which is crazy. They had an amazing onside kick that they pulled off. It was like a pooch kick that was probably landed at like the 32 to 28 yard line of Louisiana Tech, and it took a bounce. One of the kids went flying for FIU, and he caught it, and he got like 1 foot in bounds. It was amazing.
Yep.
So they were down 17-7, scored a touchdown 17-14. This crazy onside kick, amazing lucky bounce for them, recovery, and then it's 21-17. They're up, like out of nowhere, really, essentially. And they wound up winning it in double overtime. My favorite part was when the OT started, they did the coin flip, but it was really quiet when this ref did the coin toss. And so he did the coin toss and it was like, call it in the air. And then the coin goes to the ground, and then the ref does like the old man noise when he goes to pick up the coin. He's just like, and it's tails.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get out of bed. It was awesome. And so I was like, yeah, that's basically the sound I make when we all get out of bed in the morning now. So I definitely feel you there, ref. I'll say that.
I will shout out that quarterback's name is Grayson James for FIU. He's from Duncanville, Texas. He's local to me. He is a sophomore. He is 6'3", 235. He is a tall boy. So going to Saturday, I will say there were some really great games in here. New Mexico State at UMass was one of them. It was a lot of fun. This game was great to watch.
Oh, it was a blast. I mean, as I said, I had it on one of my 4 screens.
The quad box.
Quad box. I had my own personal quad box. I felt like Scott Hansen at NFL Red Zone. But yeah, it was such a great game. Like UMass leapt out to like a 10-0 lead. They had like a huge run. I'm like, the Aggies may get blown out here. But they fought back, and then they changed their quarterback. They changed it to Diego Padilla. And he's not a big guy. I don't even know how tall he is. But boy, could he run. And I mean, I just saw him running all over the place, just scampering on like design quarterback runs.
Yeah.
And I mean, it woke up the Aggies. The Aggies made like a Sports Center highlight interception on like a crazy tip. Like it was almost like a
That was a
volleyball pass.
great. Oh my
It was
God,
an
that was
amazing
great.
interception that I think they had like they ranked 3 in the Sports Center top 10. That was amazing. The Aggies got their first road win in 1,489 days. So they had not won a road game in basically 4 years. So for
Oh
them
my
to go
God,
all the way, like, I mean, I don't even know how far Las Cruces to Amherst, Massachusetts is,
that's a
but
long
That's a
way.
long, yeah.
I mean, it's like 2,000 miles. They had to go more miles to end a streak. It's almost as long, essentially. And that was a great win for the Aggies. They're 3-5. They would likely need a miracle to
Yeah,
get
that
a bowl game.
ain't gonna
Uh,
happen. But
I
but
saw
3
I
and
saw
5
one.
years good.
I saw like 2 of them. I'm like, nope, I don't think they can get those. But I mean, that's great for Coach Jerry Kill's first year in Las Cruces.
Wait, Jerry Kill is. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's no, that's
Oh,
yeah,
that.
that's
Welcome.
Jerry Kill.
Yeah.
When he
That's
was
amazing.
he was on TCU staff part time last year,
Mhm,
or like as an
mhm. I
assistant,
do
and
remember
then
that. I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
he went out to Mexico State. The best was when they flew him out there. They flew him out there on like the New Mexico State plane, which looks like what the Mexico State plane would emotionally feel like a plane that I don't know that I would get in because I don't like little planes, and this
I
plane
don't know.
is
Super
a very little
claustrophobic.
plane.
Yeah.
Yep. Diego.
Guys, do you know what I want? Sorry, I just looked up their record before you said that, Commissioner. They're 3-5. There's another Aggies team that's 3-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
I
is.
would love for these Aggies to be the dominant Aggies. That's all I want this
Ooh.
season now, I think. Ooh,
Ooh.
what if they're bowl eligible and the other ones aren't? Ugh.
Mm.
I know
Can we
it's
talk?
unlikely. I know, but man.
Well, it's not just that those are 3-5 Aggies too. There is another set of 3-5 Aggies.
Oh no.
Utah
So
State's
Utah State.
3-5.
Oh,
So
yeah,
all the
yeah.
Aggies. All the
All the
Aggies
Aggies
are
are 3-5.
3-5.
Hold up, I gotta drop that somewhere so I can remember to do a graphic. Hold up.
All the
That
Aggies are
cursed
3-5.
that cursed mascot this year. Wow.
Oh,
Well,
man.
not for some. Not for some.
For some.
Just wow.
I want to say
Mm.
that New Mexico State quarterback Diego Pavia, he went to, and I'm not joking here, Volcano Vista High School in Albuquerque.
What?
That is a great name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Where did you go?
Vista
Went to
High-
Volcano Vista. Their mascot's the Hawks. That kind of sucks. Fine.
come on.
Whatever. How do you not name them like the Volcano Vista Eruption? No, don't name them that. Stop.
No,
don't
don't.
do that. Nope.
Maybe
Nope.
edit that out. This is gonna have to be marked
Oh, you
Like,
can keep that
on.
one in there.
PG-13.
Oh, God.
That one
Nope.
in.
Never mind. Skip. More ACC slander. Notre Dame at Syracuse. A traditional ACC in-conference rivalry, obviously. Syracuse started bad. The first play was a pick six, and then the Syracuse fans all just as
it
one
was-
went, "Oh God!"
This is like the Hall of Fame of reaction shots.
Yeah.
This Syracuse crowd this year has been like the best reaction shot place that I can think of in college football this year. Yeah, there's been moments in other stadiums, but like, I mean, like there was a girl just her mouth wide open, like, and then we had the girl and the guy just like this is
In
so
the Purdue game, yep.
so fucking stupid, and then the guy goes,
So
"Woo!"
fucking
I mean, it's just Syracuse.
I'm afraid to show emotion at games because of those kind of shots. Like,
yeah,
just
because
afraid.
you're gonna be that person.
You're gonna be enshrined forever. Yeah.
That's the other reason that I don't ever want to wear like elaborate costumes to games. I've seen so many pictures, Katie, of like the Florida State guys that dress up in the glitter, looking sad.
The Garnet
And
Gold
the-
guys. So my sister Carrie dated one of the guys that was one of the Garnet Gold guys. Yes, it is like a whole thing. And the glitter stays on you all week. Like it's a whole thing.
I always general rule is never go to a game wearing something that if you're gonna look sad at the very end, you're gonna look really goofy while you're sad. That's the general rule for me.
You don't want to be you don't want to be the sad version of what you're dressed up as.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the cameras will find you.
I'm going to, as I told you guys, I'm going to a bunch of games this season. My little sister also went to Florida State and secured tickets for us to go to Florida State. My brother is a Florida fan, and my sister Carrie, we're all three going, and my sister Carrie and I are both Florida State fans. And I can guarantee you, because we're all kind of expressive with our face, if there's a camera on us during this game, like there will be some. If we're close enough, if we're close enough, it's not going to be good.
I am still going to argue that Syracuse is good. Syracuse is punching above their weight. They're 6-2
I
in the
agree.
Atlantic, not the Coastal. By the way, let's talk about the overall in the Atlantic side of the ACC right now. Clemson's 8-0, and there's a three-way tie at 16-2 between Syracuse, North Carolina State, and Wake Forest. Okay, let's look at the Coastal now. UNC is 7-1.
Okay.
Duke is
Smackdown.
5-3, just like we all knew. And then we have like Miami and Pittsburgh coming in right underneath them, tied at 4-4. So if Syracuse were on the other side, they would be doing very much better. I'm happy with where they're at. I think Syracuse fans are happy with where they're at. I think more importantly, they're going to a bowl game. I'll see you at the Bad Boy Mowers. Bad Boyers is a whole thing. Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, Syracuse. That'll be a good one.
I mean, they're bowling. That's really the main thing because they had a really down year last year. So them going to a bowl game, and I feel like they played well enough to win this game, but they just hurt themselves.
They did.
And Notre Dame took advantage of it. You know, really, they had a shot to win it, but they had to play clean, and they just could not.
Okay, so I haven't watched a ton of Notre Dame football this season. I did watch the Marshall game, which was wild.
Yeah.
And I'm going to the Clemson at Notre Dame game next week, or this coming weekend, which could be interesting. Is Notre Dame looking better? Have you guys watched very much of them? Are they looking better?
Yes.
Okay, good.
They looked much better in this game. Their defense was flying to the ball. The offense looked a little bit more competent.
Okay.
I believe was it the offensive coordinator was talking to Drew Pine. They had like a video of him talking, and he was like yelling at the quarterback. And I was trying to read his lips, and I swear he dropped like 5 or 6 F-bombs at the quarterback. And so the quarterback was just on the other end, just like with his eyes open a little bit. I'm getting my ass chewed out here.
Yep.
But basically, and then they cut away from that, and then the offensive coordinator was calm again, which is amazing. Like he just over the phone just cussed him out. Got it out, and then okay, I got the message, coach.
Next on the ACC slander docket, Wake Forest. What the fuck were you doing? Did you guys see this thing?
Yes.
Wake had 6 turnovers in the third quarter, 8 in the second half. 6 turnovers in the third quarter. Wake Forest, what the fuck are you doing? Against Louisville?
Yeah.
Against Louisville. It was so awful. It was I have never seen a team play like melt down like this in the third. Just they came back. It was a close first half. They went into
14-13.
half. They went into half like neck and neck, and then the wheels just came off the bus. 2 pick sixes, I believe.
Yep.
And then a whole bunch of other stuff. It was I can't believe it was that bad.
So the week before, Miami had 8 turnovers in a game. This week, Wake has 8 turnovers in a game. Is there going to be another ACC team that has 8 turnovers in a game next week?
I mean, Commissioner, come on.
I don't know. I mean, what? I mean, this is 2 in a row. Maybe it's just an aberration, but I mean, who are the ACC? They're playing themselves next week, so
they're listening. Shh.
You know, I haven't said as much on here as I should that I really like this Miami team this year.
I was just about to say, is this more ACC slander? Because you've done a lot of that.
This Miami team's looking real sharp. Florida State's just been looking a little rough lately. I think they're due for an 8 turnover game. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Our game is during the Notre Dame Clemson game. They're at the exact same time. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be a mess. It's gonna be bad. I agreed to go to this game a year ago, and I'm super excited about it. I'm very excited about going. But the fact that they're at the same time, and this, like the Miami game, even more than the Florida game, is very emotional because of all the wide right years. Oh.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you the Wake Forest drive chart. I know we're not we're not solid verbal. I'm gonna give you Wake Forest's second half drive chart.
There
It would be interception, touchdown, fumble, interception, fumble, punt, interception, touchdown, fumble, interception, and then an actual touchdown.
I kind of wish I'd watched this game. I might rewatch it. That sounds fun.
You need to go back and watch it because it's just that chaotic.
Yeah,
It's just that chaotic.
And they weren't like Louisville forcing these essentially.
No, they were not. That's the
I mean,
worst
like
part.
the fumbles were just like poorly handled. The interceptions were just like, what are you doing?
Was Sam,
I
what's his
don't.
face?
Yes.
Sam Hartman was in the game. Oh yeah, he
He
was.
was oh god.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
I
Oh,
don't know.
well, guys, I didn't see this. He has a single game Detmer of 4.06.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
Ooh.
that's incredibly high.
A Control
Which
C,
again, anything
Control
over
V that.
3,
Pardon me. Gonna throw that
anything over
somewhere.
3,
Sam Hartman ended up with 3 TDs, 3 ints on
oh
271 yards.
man,
He also got sacked 7 times.
yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know
That's
what
not
happened.
great. And I don't
Bad
feel like
day.
Louisville's defense is that great. I mean,
No.
Nope.
Not at
yeah,
all.
they're not. Ugh.
We go to, I'm going to actually get some more ACC slander out of the way right now. I'm going to move things around. Hey, Boston
Do it.
College.
Jeez.
Way to drop that win streak you had against UConn that was from the 1920s. Now, had they played in like,
No,
was there a gap of like 80 years and they didn't play?
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine.
They only
You know
played a
what?
total of 14 times, but yes.
Boston College, you lost to UConn at the Rent.
At the Rent in East Hartford, right next to the Cabela's.
You don't walk
And
into the
the-
Cabela's gift section and expect to win.
And the abandoned warehouse in the old abandoned airport.
Just so you know how important this game was, I went to Game on Paper and to bring up some of the highlights, and I get there's no play-by-play data available for this game. Please visit ESPN Gamecast to confirm this. So this game, they were basically trying to make sure it did not exist.
Mm.
The important thing is this game ended 13-3. UConn
Yeah,
scored
there
10
was-
points. UConn scored 10 in the first quarter and then just stopped until the very end.
Yeah,
Important question: was it on the ACC Network Regional?
no.
No,
It
this
was
was
on.
this is on an ESPN channel, I believe.
no.
Oh wow! We've got
No,
great.
no. It was
No,
on
okay.
CBS Sports Network.
It was on
So
CBS Sports Network, yeah.
You got the
Okay.
you got the CBS music for
Yes.
this game,
Oh
baby.
jeez. Oh
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, you got the game day, going to Jim Moore's haunted house.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
and then,
I did see that. Yeah.
and then Boston College was haunted and harassed by the UConn defense into 5 turnovers.
That's the story of the game. It was 5 turnovers.
I mean, like, the UConn didn't turn over once. BC threw 3 interceptions.
Yep.
They fumbled twice. They couldn't get anything done. Like, I mean, nothing. And I mean, the war daddies of the defensive line of UConn just were all over Boston College. First win ever against Boston College. UConn is 4-5. 4-5 UConn.
I know. There is a good chance that they make a
They
bowl
got a
game.
shot.
You know
Yes.
what? I'm going to move some things around our schedule as well because I'm going to put more ACC slander on here. Let's talk
That's
let's talk about Miami, Virginia.
This is because I'm here, isn't it? It's
Yeah, let's
totally
talk about
because I'm here.
Let's talk about Miami, Virginia, a
Let's
game
go.
that went into overtime at 6-6.
Yes.
This sounded really bad, y'all. I'm sad I missed
Oh,
this
no.
one too.
I watched this entire game. This was
Oh,
on one of
God.
my 4 screens the entire game. Again, like my mom is from Miami, so I have
Yeah.
That's right.
like
That's right.
Kane's
That's right.
family. So I again, and it was also ranked 4th on our Sickos warning.
It was.
And I had a feeling that this one could turn into this ugliness because Tyler Van Dyke's out with an injury. So Miami's starting quarterback's down. They're down to their backup quarterback, Jake Garcia. And then Brennan Armstrong has like basically himself as the offensive weapon. Like
He's
they're-
trying
they're-
so hard. God,
he's
he's
trying
trying so hard out there.
so hard. He's like he doesn't have. I mean, there's other players on the team, but like he doesn't have any like crazy playmakers like he had last year
No, he
and the
doesn't.
year before. Or I don't know if it's the offense. I don't know. It's a new coach, whatever. But these two teams were so offensively limited. It was ridiculous. The game started. I'm going to start the countdown. So here we go. Let's go. The game started. Both possessions for Miami and Virginia. Let's go. All right. So first drive, punt. Second drive, punt. Third drive, punt. Fourth drive, punt. Fifth drive, punt. Sixth drive, punt. Seventh drive, punt.
Oh, it's
Eighth drive, punt. Ninth drive, punt. 10th drive, punt. 11th drive, field goal. Miami leads 3-0 at halftime.
My best friend from high school went to Miami. She and her husband both went to Miami and live in Coral Gables. And we've not really spoken at all this season about Miami. Well, I will say her husband sent me like one meme where it was basically talking. I think it was something about like when you get a new coach, but it's basically the old coach. Like it's kind of saying that like Mario is basically Manny, and I was like, ooh, it's not good. It's not
Congrats.
good.
You are Virginia levels of broken Miami. I
Yeah.
actually couldn't remember who won it. I had to scroll up right now because I didn't
Yeah.
remember who won this game.
Oh, I remember who won. But again, watching the entire thing, which was great. So basically, Miami gets a field goal. Open the second half. Virginia gets down and gets a field goal, so it's 3-3. Then Miami can't do anything at all. Can't do anything at all. It was just no change. Virginia takes the lead 6-3, and I'm like, this could be an insurmountable lead for Miami. I don't know if they can do it. Last drive of the game, Miami gets all the way down to like inside the 5 of Virginia, but they just can't punch it in. Classic end zone is lava game, and they have to settle for like a 23-yard field goal to send it into OT.
It was so sad.
It
It
was
was so sad.
it was like
Mm.
I think it was a 23-yarder, whatever. If I'm
It was
wrong,
no,
but
it was a 20-yarder, man.
20-yarder. It was even shorter than what I had. I gave Miami a little bit more credit, I guess. But no, in this situation, they go to overtime. And so
And then what happens? Tell me, was it touchdown, touchdown, touchdown?
no. So both teams could barely like gain 3 yards in in OT. Like they start on the 25 and they both kick like 40-yard field goals to send it into double overtime. Then in double OT, Virginia doesn't really get any yards either, doesn't get a first down, and they doink in a field goal to take a 12-9 lead. I'm like, woohoo, there was a doink, and it went in. My favorite part of this was the students were on the hill behind the goalposts, and they're dressed in Halloween costumes. There was like the Oompa Loompas.
The
There's
minions, and
there's the
yeah.
minions. There's like 5 guys in banana costumes. Like watching this game take place, it's ridiculous. So Miami again, no first down, nothing. They have to settle for a field goal. So now we're in triple OT, which it goes to the 2-point conversion back and forth thing here, which is ridiculous. So they get a play from the 2-yard line. Miami incomplete pass, nothing. Virginia, they false start and they back up to like the 8 or the 7 or 8, and then they throw a ball like to the corner of the end zone, incomplete.
Nothing.
So we're going to quadruple OT now. So
At 12
Virginia's
at 12 to 12.
at 12-12, quadruple OT, no touchdowns, just nothing but field goals, 4 field goals apiece, and we're in the 4th overtime. So again, watching this live, I just again, there's the part of me that's Canes fan, and then there's the part of me that's the commissioner of the Sickos Committee, and the commissioner was winning this one because I was loving this, like it was so ridiculous. So Virginia, they have their 2-point conversion, incomplete pass, it gets tipped, or I'm sorry, no, the guy should have probably caught it, but it was a little bit behind him, and it gets dropped. So Miami's got a shot to win it. The backup quarterback for Miami scrambles to the right. The tight end's open. All he has to do is pitch it to the tight end. But he decides, no, I'm going to run it still to the pylon and dive and just barely gets in. And Miami wins the game 14-12. No touchdowns. 1 2-point conversion. 4 overtimes. My favorite reaction was from Mike Ryan. Mike Ryan of the Levitard Show. He just tweeted after the game. He's like, I hope your team is never on a Sickos Committee warning list. I hope you never have to experience this. I'm like, hey, I was like, I'm here with you in the Canes fandom, but I really wished Mario would have not been so braggadocious at the beginning of the year and said this was probably a rebuild.
Yeah.
I wish he would have went with that, but he went, no, we are ready to win. We can compete for the ACC championship and stuff like that. It was ACC Coastal Chaos. I just beautiful football. Loved it.
I saw the 14-12 afterwards, and I saw someone say there were no touchdowns, and I was like, how did this happen?
Now, if emotionally you want to get some points in your system,
yes,
let's talk about the Big 12.
Oh, yes.
Because all the Big 12 games just absolutely exploded in points. TCU, West Virginia. Shout out to our guest, Beth, from last week, who was at this game and got to see West Virginia get back into it repeatedly, only to fall its own face over and over and over.
They had times to win it. Normally I come up with some clever headlines for the Sicko synopsis. I try to do a lot of alliteration. Beth wanted to just throw this one in here. The moribund mountaineers muster mediocrity facing ferocious frogs. So
Love
that would have
it.
been a great one.
God, that's good.
That was a
Mhm.
good one. Like West Virginia had their chances.
Yes, they did.
They had their chances, and it's just like I can't imagine what Beth was going through at the game. Like, oh my god, like come
That's
on, like just
that being at
they
the
had
game
'em.
for a game like this is just so brutal.
They had their shots, they had their chances. The funny thing is just like West Virginia exerts all this energy to like get a touchdown drive and like yeah, and then like 2 plays later TCU touchdown. And you're like oh, and then the West Virginia fights back and yeah, and then they had a chance to take the lead and they just couldn't do it. Shout out to the Hypnotoads of TCU,
All
still
glory to the
undefeated.
Hypnotoad.
All
Yeah.
glory to the Hypnotoad. We can
Mhm.
put in that sound, whatever.
No, I'm afraid to put in sounds anymore because I don't know if I'm going to mix them right. I'm afraid to put in sounds anymore.
It's Hypnotoad. They'll be hypnotized. They won't worry about
Here
it.
we go. Also in the Big Ten, Oklahoma whooped up on Iowa State. Iowa State, once again, Iowa State had more yards in this game. They had way more passing yards. They looked really good, but they also fumbled. They also turned the ball over 4 times.
Hmm.
I mean, they had their quarterback like snapping it over his head. They had, I mean, the quarterback threw 3 interceptions. They drive the ball and they just shoot themselves in the foot. It's incredible.
Iowa
Like-
State needs to like just forget this season. Just write this one off. It's bad.
I mean, they were 3-0 going into the Big 12. 3-0 going into the Big 12. They have lost 5 straight. So I feel like there was this amazing Oklahoma fake field goal, which like
this was the best.
fake.
Katie, have you seen this?
Yeah.
Have you seen this, Katie?
No,
The
I
fake field
didn't.
goal. Okay, find her a video really fast. She needs to watch it live.
Okay,
But you know what I did see, right? Which I sent to you guys was the students, which I learned from the tweet. The students when they took the ball and threw it out of the stadium on the
I
extra
saw it,
point.
yeah.
That like Oklahoma does that to like opposing teams all the time. I was like, this is incredible. I don't know how I didn't know this earlier, but it sounds amazing.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know that either. But like,
Didn't
that's
everyone?
amazing.
I think everyone replied to the tweet and said that or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, amazing. 10 out of 10,
like-
no notes.
So apparently Oklahoma does this to their opponents, and
Yeah.
so they take their balls and they throw the balls out of the stadium.
It's
So
so
Iowa
great.
Iowa State did that back. I think I just tweeted you the Oklahoma fake field goal. So just look in the Discord
Or
to see if
in the
you see
Discord,
that
yeah.
one.
Oh, in the Discord.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Discord. So just check it out.
Sorry,
Oh, I'm
Kamish is
watching.
old, so he calls everything tweeted. It's like how my grandpa called everything Nintendo.
Oh, everything's a text to me too. Oh, the media.
I played
company-
the-
Oh wait, hold on. Here we go.
Oh no, it's a tweet that I put in the Discord. But okay,
I know.
yes, I'm an
I
old
get it.
man. I get it.
Oh my gosh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's great. It's actually great.
Oh.
And like the kicker goes around to block. That's their kicker. Like
Yeah.
he shanks a block. I'm
It was-
so
it was
happy.
I
beautiful.
love this.
That was a great one.
That's the
great
most joy
play
I
design.
felt this week. I think that's amazing. That
Matt,
was really
Matt
fun.
Campbell, again, Iowa State, no special teams coach. So
He doesn't have a special teams coach.
No,
Did
he doesn't.
we
No.
not learn anything from? Wasn't it Scott Frost who also didn't
Yes.
have a special teams?
Yep.
well,
Didn't
Scott Frost.
why didn't we learn anything from that?
I don't have a lot to say about Oklahoma State, Kansas State, because when you beat a team by 48 points, I'm not sure what even to say about that. 48-0.
My only thing from this one is Kansas State was beating Oklahoma State 35-0 at halftime, and they went to interview Mike Gundy on Oklahoma State radio, and his only comment was, "They're blocking our ass."
Yep. That was true. So obviously, though, Kansas State had their big quarterback, right? The one that's been doing so great this season.
No,
Mhm.
no,
No. Oh,
no,
Huh.
no.
must have had. I guess it was their backup then.
I'm not sure.
Where is Will Howard on their depth chart exactly? I'm not
think he
sure.
was- I think he was he may be second or third string. I can't remember for sure. So we'll get yelled at by some followers that actually listen to the
That's
podcast.
fine.
and
Hey,
make sure-
great.
Yell at us. Yeah. Seriously,
All interaction.
it's
good
great.
interaction.
Seriously, tell us if we got this wrong. Emaw, every man a wildcat. Yell at us, please.
Well, the big one is Deuce Vaughn ran for 158 yards, 22 carries. They ran over Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
It was
were-
bad enough that they were throwing in because Spencer Sanders was having a day for Oklahoma State, their quarterback. They threw in Gunnar Gundy.
Yeah.
He went 2 for 7.
There
Gunnar
was-
Gundy is Mike's son.
Yeah,
was a walk-on
Mike
at
Gundy's son
Oklahoma.
Oh
went in.
yes.
Yeah,
There
Yes.
was a
Gundy.
video. There was a video of him with like his hand shaking, but he's
Oh,
down
yeah.
48-0, and this is his first game. And it's
Go for it, man.
Go
What are you
ahead.
gonna do?
Mike Gundy threw his son into that situation. It's a blowout. And so, yeah, I'd be a little nervous too. This team has been killing us all game. It's like, hey, we're down 48-0. Get out there, son. See what you can do.
Just make something happen. It's fine. A game that I thought I knew it was going to happen was Ohio State Penn State, and it did not go that way. Ohio State looked human for the first time all season. Not for long.
Not for long. But yeah, it was great. There was this one Penn State red zone possession that I tweeted. I was like, I am gonna do a podcast just on this red zone possession only.
Yeah.
The full cast after dark did a great breakdown of it. So basically, Penn State 3rd and 1 in the red zone, fade pass incomplete. They kicked the field goal, but it was a false start, even though they missed the field goal, so they back up. Then they missed the field goal, but there was a penalty by Ohio State. 4th and 1, they converted it. Then they completed a pass to the 1, and then they fumbled it, but somehow Penn State recovers it. Then after that, a quarterback sneak was stuffed. And then 4th and goal, they do a run out of their crazy T formation.
Yeah.
Which, I love the T formation,
That
but
was great.
they need to do a little bit more creativeness, which they did a little bit later. They ran the oop-de-oop, with Jonathan Moxon on one of those plays in Varsity Blues, which was great. But that was when, things were a little bit more in Ohio State's favor. But yeah, the 4th and goal touchdown run, like the running back for Penn State had to shed like 5 or 6 tacklers. It just like somehow knifed into the end zone barely to get this touchdown. That's basically what, so close to get this touchdown. That was like, I felt like the drive was like 18 plays in like 20 yards that they had to go to get a touchdown. Penn State was in within one possession. Our Penn State fan Danger, one in the committee, he's been on the podcast before. He stated that he was going to talk about the game no matter what, and then halfway through the 4th quarter, he retracted that statement after basically the Penn State
walked that one back.
He was just like, "No, never mind. I'm too mad. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm not going to talk about this."
Then we go to the other side of the Big Ten, which was our game of the week, Northwestern at Iowa.
So
whenever you need a get-right game, if you need something that just makes you feel better, you play the Northwestern Wildcats, because Iowa's offense looked like they were a high-octane Big Ten affair in comparison.
Seriously. I tweeted out like Spencer Petras is on fire. It was just like, it was amazing. So, like the Sickos game of the week, in our eyes, it was still the Sickos game of the week because honestly, this was not what you expected. Really,
right?
Everybody expected no points. Everybody expected nothing. I think Nicole was one, like, I was going to score like 3 offensive touchdowns in this game, and which is incredibly Sickos on its own. Mm-hmm. It was Sickos, but just in the complete opposite way that everybody thought it was going to be, essentially. Everybody thought it was going to be a slugfest, no points. But, oh, no, you got to see the Iowa offense working. You got to see them take a 20-0 lead at halftime. Again, I'm going to give all credit to the Iowa Pope on this one. He blessed the Iowa offense. He blessed them with offense. Like, I don't know what he did. He turned water into the wine. He turned Spencer Petras into a quarterback that gets drafted in the 7th round and will be a 3rd stringer for about 5 or 6 years for the Washington Commanders.
Hell yeah.
Maybe the Jets.
Get that backup QB money. Hell yeah.
Get that money, Spencer. This is going to get you. This, really, maybe he's like a 3rd string Tennessee Titan. I have no idea. I could definitely see him in the AFC South or maybe the NFC South with the Panthers. Who knows? But, again, this is going to get, that's the game right here that's going to get him like drafted in like the 7th round. This game right here.
21 for 30, 220, 1 TD, no ends. Perfect. That is a Big Ten scoreline as hell.
That is it's the most points they have scored in a game the entire year.
So the final score was 33-13.
Amazing.
If I told you that Northwestern had 177 total yards, how many did Iowa have?
328.
Kamish?
I'm gonna say 350.
Almost 400. 398.
Holy.
They almost broke 400 yards of offense.
My God.
I thought I was being aggressive with 328. Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna tell you the most Sickos fact about this game.
Go.
All right. Iowa punted once this entire game. Once. just once. Let's go
What's
even
going
further.
on? What's going on?
The only punt they had was a shanked 12-yard punter. They iced their own punter.
That's
He had
amazing.
one punt for 12 yards. Like, we thought the Iowa Northwestern game was gonna zig, and they totally zagged on us. They went the other way.
You guys
So
thought it was going to be Miami, Virginia, and it
We
was
did.
not.
no,
Yes.
it was not. It was not. You know,
That's we love
The
It
it.
yin
was-
and the yang.
it
Yin
was
and
it was
yang.
beautiful. Honestly, I just watching the game, and then Anish kept shouting out to the dismay of sickos everywhere, like, nobody's punted. I'm like, we love this. Like,
No,
this is
God.
because all the Iowa fans, they were just like, this is catharsis. This is it. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Iowa is now 4-4, folks.
Yeah.
4-4 Iowa
4-4,
Hawkeyes
man.
on their way to the Pinstripe Bowl
To play
against
Syracuse.
That's
Oh
right.
God, the Syracuse offense versus the Iowa defense in New York City. Go to the SEC for a little bit. Arkansas Auburn. Best bit of info about this was that this game was going. We've talked the last couple weeks about why Brian Harsin isn't fired, and Kamish keeps saying they don't have an AD. There's no one to fire him. No one knows who he is when he walks in the building. He doesn't report to anyone right now. And they decided that in the middle of this game they were going to break the news that Auburn does have a new AD. Mississippi State's AD, in fact.
Yeah. Mississippi State's on a bye, and Auburn steals their athletic director, and the news breaks in the middle of the Arkansas at Auburn game. Just classic Auburn. Like, hey,
Mr.
don't look
Steal
at
Your Girl, man. Woo.
Yep.
don't look at the game. We're losing to Arkansas. Don't look at that. We got a new shiny athletic director over here. We just took him from a division rival. So yeah, don't look at what's happening. Oh, Arkansas, KJ Jefferson stiff arming everybody in the face. Don't look at that.
Yeah, don't look at that, God. Don't look at that, please.
Don't look at that, please. This guy, like, just got thrown inside the ground by KJ Jefferson's stiff arm. No, don't look at that. Look at, we got a shiny new athletic director.
Also in the SEC, we had some critters at Ole Miss, Texas A&M.
Yeah, there's a possum in the stands, guys.
Now,
It-
it's
it.
funny because this is clearly not, critters are at these stadiums. We've seen critters before, but the SEC seems to have a lot more critters for some reason.
They do. The SEC, I would agree. The possum in the stands at Kyle Field. They also, this past spring, baseball, Arkansas game, I think it was the College World Series when they were playing Ole Miss.
I
don't
think so.
remember for sure.
I think it was the World Series, but God, or maybe it was SEC tournament. It was, so
It was
good.
like the regionals or something. I think. It
Yeah,
was.
I think yeah. Anyways, the picture of the guy holding up the raccoon, like, I loved that so much.
with
so
his phone,
much.
with his phone out.
With his phone out.
Taking a
And the
picture of
raccoon
the
looking
raccoon.
back like, I'm gonna bite you and I'm definitely rabid. This is not gonna end well.
He's
Not
taking
gonna end well.
a Snapchat video to put on the story.
Yeah.
Look at this raccoon I got at the Arkansas baseball game. But no, this one was like in the stands at Kyle Field. But
Yeah.
it was like against a wall.
Yeah, he must have heard
Like,
him like behind his seat or something.
I don't even know how. I mean, Kyle Field is gigantic. To have this possum like sleeping in the stands somewhere, it
Just
was
hanging
insane.
out.
Yeah, I mean, and he took it out, and he's like, "Here, I got the possum," and
I love it.
just walked it out. Shout out to Jay Arnold, the Texas A&M Pope. He did not bless too much because they took away his staff. His staff was made of St. Arnold beer cans,
Oh, no.
and the Aggies did not allow his staff, and that probably is why A&M lost the game. So Aggies, this is your fault. You could have been blessed by Pope J. Arnold, but again, they took away
You
his
did
staff.
this to yourself.
You
Now-
did this
now-
to yourself, Aggies fans.
The way Lane was talking after the game, Ole Miss must have won by 50, right?
No,
I
not
mean-
at all. It was a 3-point game. It was 31. It was 31-28. But A&M did that classic, like, hey, we're gonna hurry up at the end of the game and make the game look a lot closer than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, Ole Miss was up like 31-21, and then A&M got like a touchdown with like less than a minute left or
Yeah.
whatever, and then Ole Miss was able to salt the game away, essentially. Ole Miss like punted it back to A&M with like a minute left, and A&M was at their own 10-yard line, and they didn't even advance past their own 15. So that was a way to end the game there. Ole Miss, their former defensive coordinator last year, went to A&M. Texas A&M allowed 390 yards rushing to Ole
Jesus
Miss.
Christ.
390 yards rushing in the home loss. It is the most that A&M has allowed since Texas's 393 back in 2003.
I think I've meditated on this a little more, and I am probably going to eat these words, but I think I want Florida to win next weekend because
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Wait, hold on. Breaking news. Florida State fan is rooting for Florida. What
It's
is
happened
going on
before.
this
It has
year?
happened before.
Well, that's a little bit different because, you're a jilted ex of Jimbo. And he's
Oh,
at A&M,
that's
so
true,
okay,
yeah.
we'll give you that one. All right. Not as much breaking news, but okay.
But after that, I know. Well, the other time, Florida and Miami played like 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. And at the time, Florida was really down and Miami was like a little bit. And so I was like, I'll pull for Florida. Anyways, it occasionally happens. After that, after Florida plays A&M, Auburn and A&M play, which it would be really funny, really, really funny if Auburn beats A&M. They're playing UMass the weekend after that. I think they'll win against UMass, but then LSU is definitely going to beat them. And then they don't make a, well, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say definitely, but I feel like probably.
LSU and A&M is
it's
likely,
weird, I know.
Is likely, but like, again, I still harbor the 7 OT flashbacks. So
yeah, that's true.
No, yeah, I know. But Brian Kelly, as much as I do not care for him, has I don't know that Florida State could beat LSU today versus the LSU we played at the beginning of the season. Like they've gotten better. Anyways,
yeah,
better.
I would agree with that statement too.
Yeah, I don't know that we would beat them. Anyways, all that to say, A&M at that point would not be bowl eligible, and that would make me happier than it should. So
that, I mean, like the thing with the A&M thing is like Jimbo calling the press conference to like talk trash has really incredibly backfired.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of schadenfreude over A&M right now. It's like, hey, you have all these 5-star recruits, which Lane made mention of that. They got all these 5-star recruits, but they can't stop a rushing attack 390 yards.
Is that what Lane Kiffin sounds like?
That's right, Lane Kiffin sound like this.
Okay.
No, interesting.
No,
okay.
It's I don't know.
I like that you went with a choice.
That was a weird one. That was maybe like a normal Mississippi accent.
Sometimes it's about making a choice, not making the right one, but sticking.
It
with
was
the choice
definitely the wrong choice. Lane Kiffin, Mississippi man. I'm out here in Oxford, and I'm about to go hunting in a deer stand. Shout out to Monkey Perkins. But
shout out to Monkey Perkins. Oh my gosh, I really, yeah.
I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. I don't know.
That was great.
That was great.
I'm sorry. I mean, I love Lane talking so much trash after the game. I mean, like this morning he woke up and chose violence on Twitter.
Yes.
Like he just went like retweeting crazy, like, haha, let me stir it up. I don't know. This weird like Lane, reclamation thing is very strange.
I don't know. Do you know what Lane reminds me of? Lane would have been perfect if he had been on The Real World in like 1990.
Oh my gosh.
Like Lane Kiffin would have been great on The Real World in like 99.
What was the New Orleans season? Do you remember the New Orleans season?
Yeah, that's
he would have been yes.
Like, he is who you would have casted if you were a casting person for The Real World back then.
Yes.
Real World, New Orleans, Lane Kiffin.
Or Southern Charm.
Or
I want him on Southern Charm in Shep's role. Like he is Shep. God, yes. Jordan, this is a gift you've given me. Oh gosh. This is great. Thank you.
Real World Lane Kiffin.
He's a good, like, lovable villain. It's great.
Yes.
It's so great.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, because he reminds me of, like, Puck from, like, the early New York seasons.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Yep.
San Fran, Puck.
To everyone over the age of 35 that got that, thank you. For everyone else, it's like,
I mean, anybody else is
Real World.
What is Real World?
It was a show when MTV stopped showing videos but had TV shows for a while that weren't.
What is it now? The Challenge or whatever they call it now. Okay,
I watched 0 of Missouri, South Carolina. You said it was going to be weird, and it was weird.
Oh my god, it was. I don't know what happened at all. I was like, I just felt like this was weird. South Carolina's riding high after beating A&M. I feel like they're going to be down. It's in the middle of the day, and I feel like Missouri's going to get them. And oh boy, did Missouri get them! It was like 23-10.
Good, Jesus.
Oh my god. So my weird feelings for the year, I'm 3-1 on weird feelings. So I'll say that. So I had the weird feeling of Louisville, Boston College, which Boston College beat Louisville, which is looking weirder and weirder as the series goes on.
The
Right?
Boston College that lost by 10 to UConn.
That's right.
The
Beat
Louisville
Louisville.
that beat Wake by whatever.
Yes, with 8 turnovers in the game. That it's looking weirder and weirder as it goes on, right? The Cal Colorado, I predicted Colorado was going to get their only win of the year against Cal. So I got that one. And then this one is the Mizzou, South Carolina here. I have that one. My failed premonition was the Iowa, Ohio State.
That one was aggressive. It was aggressive.
It was a bold choice. It was a bold choice.
That was a little... I went a little bit over my skis there.
Speaking of choosing violence.
Went down like the double black diamond roll, and I got distracted by stupid, sexy Flanders, and just totally fell over my skis.
The commissioner was like, "Yeah, I have these beginner skis, but a double black diamond sounds great. We're doing this."
Yeah. All I know is pizza,
right? I got pizza.
I don't need poles. I don't need poles. What are those?
I know V and pizza is all I need to know.
French fries, pizza, French fries, whatever. I will say this, that Iowa did get a defensive touchdown first. It gave me slight hope when they were up 7-3. But, that hope was dashed quickly by the Buckeyes. I still can't. I mean, again, I had another dream about Iowa, but I didn't tweet it. I was like, I had a dream that Iowa came out in the Wildcat against the Wildcats. But, that didn't happen. I didn't say that one. I kept that to myself. But now it's over. I can say it. We're safe now. Like I said, South Carolina only had barely 200 yards of offense. They turned the ball over twice. And Missouri just absolutely just stifled anything they wanted to do. South Carolina didn't score until late. Oh. And it was just such a slog for the fans. They were all up for the game. And excited after they beat them. And I mean, I think South Carolina got a field goal, it made it 17-10, but Missouri just kept kicking field goals to just clinch it. It was just not a pretty game for them. And I really don't know I don't know why this happened, but Missouri is the one that will just drag you down and make you just scrap with them at their level and play their weird sloppy style of football. And it kind of works out. It worked out for them this week.
A sloppy Missouri sounds like the worst regional food I've ever heard of.
I mean, they do have.
Oh man, there's 4 places in Columbus. Oh man, in Kansas City, you can get a sloppy Missouri 4 different ways. It's wonderful.
It's a sloppy Missouri, or maybe you can call it a messy Missouri.
A messy Missouri.
That's right. The messy Missouri. It was the Columbia Clash, and the one from Missouri won it. That's right.
The Governor's Cup, Mayor's Cup.
I think Governors, but I don't remember that for sure.
Mayors. It's the Mayors.
Oh, it is Mayors. Okay.
Mayors. That's right.
Let's head out to the West Coast real fast.
West side.
Arizona, Colorado State was a score fest. This was a lot. This game was so much fun.
It was nuts. Arizona State was repressed from playing Stanford last week, and they just unleashed offense on Colorado, and it was just. The Sun Devils were just I can't wait for spring break, baby. And then they go to Colorado and just throw out all the points all over Colorado. And then, I mean, Colorado was fighting back. They had a fantastic 88-yard punt return at the end to shrink it to 8. And then they had to try to stop Arizona State, but they just could not tie the game at the end. But I mean, it was a great game. If you're going to be bad, please be entertaining. That's all we ask. It was 42-34. It was a lot of points, a lot of fun to be in Boulder to watch it.
What time was that game on? It wasn't late, was it? It wasn't the Pac-12
No, this wasn't a late game.
It was a 7 p.m., I think.
Because there wasn't any good Pac-12 After Dark last night, as I recall. I fell asleep, listening to the full cast After Dark, but, I don't remember there being anything good after the A&M Ole Miss game.
I'm gonna argue this one. I'm not gonna say what the score is because I'm gonna ask you a question about it. It's not on the thing. Stanford played UCLA at the Rose Bowl. They beat Notre Dame 16-14. They beat Arizona State 15-14. How many points do you think Stanford got this week?
13.
I know. I was watching.
It was 13.
Unfortunately, stop! I was being ridiculous.
Oh. Unfortunately, UCLA got to 38.
Oh.
Well. UCLA did not play with their food this week. They decided just to drop the hammer down on a very much not great Stanford team.
So I want to shout out Stanford Steve. I made a tweet about this game that Stanford was down 24-6 at one point, and so I pointed out that Stanford had scored nothing but field goals for the past 10 quarters in a tweet. And Stanford Steve was like, we know. And I was like, I'm sorry for mentioning that, Stanford Steve. And he had to send me a DM. It's all love. I'm like, no, I'm not mad. I'm like, I'm just sorry for mentioning that, Stanford. But yeah, they went back 10 quarters that they had not scored a touchdown. And they only scored field goals in those 10 quarters. It was amazing.
Got one here. They got a touchdown here in the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter. That's right. The fourth quarter.
4 minutes left.
Garbage time. In garbage time with 4 minutes left, they got their touchdown. So again, basically, they went 3 games without a touchdown and nothing but field goals, essentially.
Oregon at Cal, nothing interesting really to say except that Cal got palindromed 42-24.
And Bo Nix had a really good game, didn't he?
And Bo Nix had a really good game.
There was so Bo Nix in the beginning, and Cal was kind of hanging around for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then Oregon just put their foot on the neck. My favorite thing was that if you ever saw the movie, I believe Super Troopers, where there's a guy in a bear costume, and he looks like he's acting like he's having sex with the bear to try to distract the other troopers while they try to pull off the thing at the end. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Super Troopers, whatever. There's a halftime entertainment in this game where this guy's wearing a Cal helmet, and he's wearing like this inflatable bear around his waist, like suspenders, trying to catch punts as halftime entertainment. And so it's just so utterly ridiculous. He catches the first punt, and then the next one he drops it. It was just so ridiculous. Like it's an inflatable like bear. That was
Does
basically.
Oregon or Cal not have a band? Like this was the actual halftime entertainment.
It could have been in between the quarters. I'm sorry, it could have been in between the quarters. But but yeah, it was that was going on. It was that amazing. Ridiculous, and that was kind of like the only thing I remember from this game.
To some other games, I came on this show and I said, "Hey, everyone, notice Rice for a little bit. Rice is pretty good this year." Rice, I am so sorry that I said that. I pulled some numbers earlier this week on the Twitter account where I looked at the most prolific first half versus second half scoring offenses. And someone said, hey, can you look at the defenses? I was like, okay, I'll look at the defenses. Which defenses have had the most points scored on them in the first and second halves? I didn't realize how bad Charlotte's defense had been this year.
The outlier, essentially.
Charlotte's defense had been incredibly bad. I think they took it personally.
Oh my God.
Charlotte absolutely took it out on Rice. 56-23. I'm so sorry, Rice.
This is all your fault, Jordan.
I'm so sorry.
Jordan cursed the Rice Owls.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
This is all your fault.
It was like we cursed Marshall against the Raging Cajuns earlier this year, and then apparently we have cursed the Rice Owls. Charlotte just fired their coach, so if you fire your coach, you will likely win the next game.
Do it, Auburn, before the A&M game. Do it.
Auburn,
Iron Bowl, baby.
Auburn before the Bama game. Do it to test this theory of the 2022 interim coach power. I was watching, like, I put this on one of the screens, and I was just like, or I think I put this on the tablet, but I was just like, what is going on? I just saw it was like 42-17. I'm like, what the hell is going on here in Houston? And then Charlotte after the game was like, well, I guess we didn't have any problems in Houston. Like, oh, damn.
Oh, God. Charlotte had 520 yards in this game.
Holy. Wow.
Seriously, I don't know what happened. This is one of the most confusing games, I think, of the year right now for me personally.
Oh, easily for me.
I mean,
This makes no sense.
No sense. Thank you, 2022. We love it.
North Texas 40, Western Kentucky 13. Western Kentucky hasn't looked great this year. I didn't think they looked 33 points worse than, or 30, I can't do math. 27 points worse than North Texas this year. Also, 100-year-old quarterback Austin Ahn wins the game for the Mean Green. He's only 29. I keep joking that he's older than this because he played minor league baseball for a while. He's been out in the world, but he's definitely like the old man of the team.
That was funny. Like people that are old as us were just like, okay, Scott Bakula from Unnecessary Roughness. like seriously, like for some odd reason, like you just tweeted like 29-year-old Austin Ahn like throws a touchdown pass against Western Kentucky, and they're up 14-0, and that gets like 5,000 likes. We're like, what the hell? And then I think it was
People like to see that, see themselves out there.
The CBS reporter was it? Oh man, Sinead Jaharaja. Just like, oh my god, I said his name wrong, but I'm sorry. But like, because I'm laughing as I'm saying this, he's just like, yes, this North Texas quarterback, Osani, is older than me, and he still has 1 year of eligibility left.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like a 30-year-old quarterback in Conference USA. Well, they'll be in American next year, right?
Oh god, that's even that may be a good reason to slide into retirement, friend. North Texas had 541 yards. Western Kentucky had 466, and they still lost by 27.
Oh my gosh.
If you like yards and offense and not a whole lot of defense being played, this was your game.
That's great.
The UTEP Bullbound Express hit a rock on the tracks, let's put it that way. And that rock was Mitsu. So
I mean, Middle Tennessee, it was just like I feel like UTEP should have did it, but like they just could not. If they would have been able to tie the game, like they had like two touchdowns.
Yeah.
No, they had 2 touchdowns called back by like penalties that were kind of questionable, and they would have taken the lead. And then they had to settle for a field goal, and it was 17-13. And I mean, I feel like UTEP almost did it. They play Rice on Thursday.
I'm torn. Rice, don't make me choose.
Rice just did this. Don't make me choose. That's right. So yeah, the Bullbound Express again. UTEP is 4-5.
Need 2.
They need to win 3. 2 out of 3 in their final games. They play Rice on Thursday, CBS Sports.
Yeah.
Then they play FIU at El Paso. So FIU, which again 4-4. So this is a battle of this is like a bowl eligibility.
Oh man,
hate triangle here.
All my darlings are gonna have to beat each other up to win this thing. God.
So essentially, UTEP has
all your
to be
favorite children are playing, so you can figure out your favorite is.
I mean, we can't even pick here. We love them equally.
Katie, how was Cincy UCF?
It was really fun. It was honestly really, really fun. Like the first half was like fine. At one point, I think it was maybe the second quarter, or maybe it was third quarter. The guys behind me, which I have another good story about them. It was like 12-6, and they were like, "This is like a high-scoring baseball game. That's a nasty ass score." And I was like, "Yeah, it kind of is."
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I was laughing because towards the end of the game, when it was 21-18 and Cincy was up, UCF got the ball back, and there were 3 or 4 minutes left, and UCF was running the ball on Cincy well, and they were running very well. But between plays, they weren't always getting a first down, so the clock wasn't always stopping. And between plays, they wouldn't run the play clock down. And I was like, y'all are going to give the ball back with so much time left. And I said something about it, and the guys behind me, this is my favorite thing in the world, said, well, this is college, and they stopped the clock on first downs. And I said, oh, thank you. I'm a college fan. I'm aware. Yeah. I said, they're also not running the clock down between plays, and you're going to give the ball back with lots of time. They're like, no, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And then, yeah, exactly. So then UCF scores, and now it's 25-21, and there's 48 seconds left. And the guy taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, you were right. It's a lot of time. And I was like, y'all better say some prayers. And then, of course, they turned the ball over. But
yeah, they got lucky there. Seriously,
they did. They did.
So,
I was joking they were going to be a runner-up clock commanders of the week. I know that wasn't the worst, but like the 2 behind me trying to run the game, I was like, no, I could do a better job of this.
I want to say podcast breaking news. Stanford has decided to suspend the tree for walking out onto the field last game with a sign reading, Stanford hates fun. The Stanford tree socials will be inactive for the next few months. See y'all soon. So
what the hell?
Stanford responded to them walking out on the field as the tree, saying Stanford hates fun. They decided to suspend the tree.
Is this an inside job? Like, what's happening here?
I don't know if it's real, but like we got tagged in this.
There's a whole story about the tree, like why they did that, and like the band's autonomy and whatever. Like, there's a whole reason behind this.
Yes,
but this right here is great.
This is amazing. Yeah.
I mean, they scored nothing but field goals. They banned the tree. I mean, Stanford Steve has got to be loving this right now, right? He's just like, what's going on? It's Stanford. I don't know. I may DM Stanford Steve like, hey, let's talk about the Stanford tree.
Let's get the scoop, man.
How did
inside info of the
how did
Stanford
this
tree.
ACC game get on our list so far down? Georgia Tech at FSU. This game happened. When was this?
Yeah,
This is a
Is this a pity mention because I'm on the
is
podcast?
this a
Is that
Friday
why?
night game? When did this game happen? I remember,
Okay,
I
first of
literally
all,
don't
it
remember
was
this
at
game.
noon. It was at noon
noon.
yesterday.
Really?
You missed the
Okay.
ACC
Yeah.
slander. Okay, so out. We can. I don't know if you want to cut this and then throw it back into the ACC slander. If you
That's
want
fine.
to,
Sure. Why not?
throw it in there. Georgia Tech at Florida State. Georgia Tech just got kind of beat up pretty bad by Florida State. At halftime, I think Georgia Tech had 28 yards total
Oh wait,
offense at
no, I remember
halftime.
this. Time out. Time out. I remember this game now. I remember this game
Okay,
now. Yes.
they had 24. I think 24 yards total at halftime, and they had 87 penalty yards at halftime. So basically, they had quadruple the penalty yard compared to the offensive yards.
And at one point, I believe they had like 5 yards and were up by 3.
Yeah,
Like
there was
early
one
on in the
point.
game.
No, they had 2 yards. They had 2 yards, and they were up 3-0. They were
Oh, at the
2
beginning
yards
of the game, yeah.
at the beginning of the game. They had 2 yards. Yes, it was. This was kind of far. It was like within like the first. There was only 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Georgia Tech had 2 yards of total offense, 4 yards rushing, -2 yards passing, and they were up 3-0 on Florida State. It did not get any better for Georgia Tech at halftime. Again, they were down 24-3. Florida State just basically pounded them and won 41-16. You know, again, the interim coach bump maybe has faded a little bit from Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
Bit,
it's not a long lasting bump. It's just a
maybe they gotta fire the interim.
much like a lot of bumps you take. It doesn't
Fire
last
the
very
interim.
long. Much like many bumps that you take. Sometimes they don't last very long. You gotta take a second bump just to keep you going through the day.
That's right.
So
I'm going to make a sign for game day. Like, I need to make a sign at some game I go to that says "Fire the interim." Doing that, it's so good.
I mean, there was one time where like Southern Miss had like 4 interim coaches in 1 year. It was great.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
good.
You're very Roman year of 4 emperors for you classics majors out there.
Beautiful.
We have a MAC game that was weird because on game day they kept cutting into it and being like, "Hey, Ypsilanti has lots of fog on it," and to the point where people in the press box couldn't see the field. People in the front row couldn't see the field.
No, it was a
Doesn't
lot of
that
fun.
happen a lot in East Lansing, like, or Eastern Michigan? Am I like okay?
I mean,
Ypsilanti, yeah.
I mean, it felt
Ypsilanti. I'm sorry. Yeah.
like Ypsilanti definitely felt like this felt correct for Ypsilanti. Like
Yeah.
the gray fog, the gray field, it was great. Just before the game, they had said that Toledo's quarterback, insert name here, who I can't remember,
DeQuan Finn.
DeQuan Finn, thank you. DeQuan Finn was out for the game, and so this felt like Eastern Michigan's day, and they came up 3 points short. Sucks, but a great start to that game.
They were. I mean, they could have taken control of their division of the MAC. They were just in control. It was like 24-17. Then it was 24-20, and then Toledo cashed in at the end with like it was kind of like a touchdown pass out of nowhere. And the Rockets got it in the end zone, and then Eastern Michigan just couldn't do anything in the second half. The fog lifted in the first quarter, which I was kind of disappointed by that. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, you could really see the yellow pants of Toledo on the gray field. It was a great backdrop for the game.
On some ranking news, they ranked the Beavers. Oregon State is out of purgatory, out of their hell on the AP poll. They are ranked Beavers now. We were missing a lot of teams this week on like a lot of our favorite teams this week.
Seriously, I was so depressed this week. I felt like there was like parts of me missing. I missed Bowling Green. I missed Louisiana Monroe. I missed Tulane. I missed Oregon State. Texas didn't play. I mean, there was just so many teams on, like LSU wasn't playing. I mean, there was just so many teams that had a bye, and it just felt like while the week was kind of wild, we were just missing some wild teams, really, honestly. And I just want to shout those out on bye. Welcome back. We will see you on Wednesday, Bowling Green, for some match.
Yeah. Some FCS bangers. Fordham and Holy Cross played an absolutely great game that no one saw.
I had it on one of my screens for a while.
It was great.
It was just nuts, like on the quad box, the commissioner's quad box. You can put an echo if you want.
I'm gonna do that.
It was great. Seriously, I had Fordham and Holy Cross in one, like in the upper left hand corner, and I had like Harvard and Dartmouth in the other corner.
Oh, I'm so
Um,
sorry. God
it was just
damn.
no. I mean, it was kind of like a weird break between in games, and I'm like playing with the first time I'm using the Apple TV, so I threw them out. Like Fordham just throws up so many points, man. They've lost 2 games and they've given up plus 50 points.
Yep.
I mean, like they give up over 50 points and they lose. Like they lost to Ohio, a MAC team, and they give up over 50 points and they scored plus 50 points. They lost to Holy Cross again here. They scored 52. They lost
53,
53-52.
52.
It was
God,
a
it was
the Philly special 2-point conversion. Instead of like passing it, he had the option to pass it, and he just decided to run it in for 2 in overtime. Holy Cross is insane. Honestly, they've won a game over an FBS team, Buffalo, who is actually leading the MAC right now, like their division of the MAC. They're undefeated. They're probably going to get the Patriot League automatic berth to the FCS playoffs. I believe Fordham needs a berth. I don't even know how if they get an at-large, but they got to give them one. Seriously, they need to get in the FCS playoffs. Like Fordham needs to be in. It's insane. Their quarterback Thomas Demarat is amazing. Just points left and right.
We're gonna say also some Big Sky bangers. Montana on Weber versus Weber States on something that's called Cages. Actually, I was told the story that it's called K-Jazz out of Salt Lake City because the Utah Jazz play on that network sometimes. So
Okay.
that's why it's called that.
K-Jazz, not
Cages.
The page is
Sorry,
When I
not
was
up
listening to that episode, I kept spelling it CAGES in my brain, and I was like, "This is so weird." Everything makes more sense now.
Sorry about your
Cages.
queen, UK. Cages says sorry.
Seriously, the front page of the Cages is like the top Netflix movies for August, and it's the death of Queen Elizabeth. Still there. A week later, still there. I don't know when it's
Amazing.
gonna go away, but the KJZZ.com and Weber State won this game 24-21. They got back on track. Their long snapper, no snaps over the punter's head. So I'm gonna attribute that to the crazy, cold, slippery ball up there in Bozeman, Montana. So I mean, Weber State only one loss against Montana State, which is a respectable loss in the FCS. So I mean, that was a great game.
Also, Sacramento State hosts Idaho. Both were undefeated in the Big Sky, and Sacramento State wins it 31-28. It was a close game. A lot of fun.
This Idaho took the lead late, like with like maybe 3 minutes left, and I'm like, oh my god, they made a huge comeback. Like the Vandals, they're gonna win this one. And then Sacramento State drives the ball down. There's maybe like less than 2 minutes left, and the quarterback for Sacramento State like does like this jumping from like the 4 or 5 yard line, and he does almost like a triple axle like spin in the air, like completely unnecessary. Whatever, and then he stretches the ball out. It's almost like the NBA Jam, like diving 360, touchdown, and like his tight end like caught him in the end zone. Like he dove into the tight end's arms and they fell into the end zone together. It was ridiculous. It reminded me of when I had a Nerf hoop on the back of like my door, and I would just do crazy 360, dunks because I really can't jump that well, and just spin and do dunks and crazy dunks. That's what it reminded me of. But like this was incredibly athletic, quite unnecessary because I mean he really, if he could have stayed on his feet, he probably could have walked in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this was highlight reel Big Sky stuff here.
Who is doing our Livid Coach on the Sideline Awards today?
I have a new award here. So
wait, can we name this the Steve Spurrier Award? Because he's the best livid coach on the side.
All right.
I was going to call it the Yellies or the Screamies. I'll workshop this.
We'll workshop the name, but like the Livid Coach on the Sidelines Award, we're gonna have this one here, like to the coach that is the most livid on the sidelines. And really, there's 2 nominees this week: Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame. Basically, what happened is they were inside maybe the 10-yard line, and they're trying to score. Now the refs stop the play before the ball. They won't allow Notre Dame to snap the ball because they're allowing Syracuse to substitute. But he's jumping up and down. I'm talking about jumping up and down, literally, like bouncing on the sidelines, up and down, up and down, up and down. Like, hey, we didn't substitute. We did not substitute. You should not allow Syracuse to substitute. Just bouncing up and down like he's on a pogo stick. It's incredible. Like, just so furious at the refs. Like, just doing this up and down, up and down. Then there was another one, Lincoln Riley. They were in the fish tank against Arizona. For some odd reason, there's like 6 seconds left in the game.
This was the stupidest like ref shit I saw all weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and this is warranted, like Lincoln Riley to get this mad here in this situation. So the refs allowed the clock to start when the ball wasn't spotted. So USC was not allowed to spike the ball before the half ended in the first half. And then really after this, like Lincoln, he normally wears a visor, like the visor just flinging all over the place, just screaming at the refs for at least 5 minutes. Like he didn't even walk into the locker room for at least 5 minutes of halftime, just yelling at the Pac-12 refs.
I'm surprised he didn't get ejected for this, honestly.
Seriously.
Like, it was that much of like...
It was amazing. I mean, this one, like Lincoln Riley being this mad and being this livid on the sidelines, really, I think that was warranted in this situation. Like I can see Marcus Freeman like bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't necessarily know who wins this, but this is just something I want to give this to like both of them.
Okay,
because
you can do that.
Like
we split title.
Like we're gonna split the title here because this is just something new that I've just noticed. I just wanted to talk about these two things because coaches getting extremely irate on the sidelines at referees is incredible.
This may have to be a Will Muschamp award now that I'm thinking about it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah.
Who are our clock commanders this week?
We really didn't get too many nominees this week, honestly. There was kind of limited. So there was an Amy Just, a Nebraska reporter who follows us, nominated Brett Bielema for Illinois in this situation.
Bert's good.
Bert, we can call him Bert. So it's 3rd and 7 at the Nebraska 22. The quarterback for Illinois was sacked in this situation. So it backed them up to like 4th and 19 at Nebraska's 34. So it would have been a 51-yard field goal attempt. So the ball is snapped and the kicker nails the 51-yard field goal. Beautiful kick right down the middle. Mm-hmm. But oh no, Bert has called a timeout. So the field goal has been taken off the board. So basically, Bert has iced his own kicker in this situation. Now, so basically, after the timeout, they line up to kick the field goal again. However, Illinois false starts. So it backs them up 5 more yards. Oh. So now, instead of a 51-yard field goal, it would have been a 56-yard field goal. Bert begrudgingly sends out the punt team. And they punt down at the Nebraska 7, a 32-yard punt.
That's amazing.
So basically, I'm going to say, Bert, you got clock commander of the week because, I mean, really, you were our only nominee, really, essentially, in the situation. Uh-huh. But icing your own kicker when you probably had like 4 or 5 seconds left on the play clock.
That fucking kid looked at me at practice this week. Fuck it. I told him.
He looked at me. No, they weren't ready to snap it, even though they snapped it.
I'm going to ice your ass. I told him to go there. I'm going to ice your ass. I'm going to ice your ass.
Ultimately, it didn't matter because Nebraska's quarterback, Casey Thompson, got hurt, and they were able to take care of Nebraska. But if there were some more consequences here, the second quarter mishap would have been maybe a little bit more prevalent.
Our 4-4 teams that are coming up on bowl eligibility, these are our watch teams. We got teams like SMU, Memphis, Miami, the one in Florida. Texas Tech, Rutgers, Iowa, Wisconsin, FAU, Rice, UAB, Mitsu, Bowling Green, Ball State, Fresno State, UNLV, San Diego State, Wazoo, Mizzou, Florida Domestic, Marshall, and the Raging Cajuns. At 4 and 5, we also have UConn, BYU, and UTEP. The only other funny thing I have to say is we got a video from the Hampton-Sydney Guilford. We'll see which one it is. Homecoming game in D3. And someone told us, hey, they're only playing this game one direction because they had knocked over one of the goalposts. We're like, that's weird. We'll tweet this out. No big deal. Same dude, who's an excellent journalist, by the way. Only person I'm ever going to trust. Insert his name here. I'll put his name here. But he sent us a video, which looks like off a security camera, like someone's security camera screen, of the most dad dude I've ever seen slowly, but like going forward over a goalpost, collapsing it, and then just backing up and trying to drive away. It is beautiful.
It was I mean, we posted the video today, Sunday, in this situation. It was absolutely ridiculous what happened. And I mean, he's driving like a John Deere tractor, and we got a bunch of replies that said "Oh dear," like
That
spelled
was
like
so good.
John
Yeah.
Deere.
Uh-huh.
That was great.
Oh,
That
that's
was
good.
beautiful. Let me see if I can find the reporter. Sorry, it was the I don't know. It says he's Project Pat, but you know that's 3-6 Mafia. But yeah, he's the #1 Duke's Mayo Bowl fan, so shout out Duke's Mayo Bowl. But
Yeah.
yeah, he sent us the video, and it was, I think it was Cal Mitchell, maybe the reporter. Uh, like this guy driving the tractor, I don't know if he was like backing up around the curve and just like not looking at the goalposts because he had the other side of the tractor. I don't know what happened, but like he hit this goalpost with like
It's
force,
great.
and this thing collapsed like Legos, man.
Yeah.
It was just like the Lego game. If you ever playing that, it just made the Lego sound. We're gonna need some sound effects, Jordan.
Yeah, I'll do the Lego set. The Lego
On
breaks down.
get some sound effects and everything like that. But like him accidentally like just trying to get the tractor off the field before the game, just backing into the goalpost and knocking this down. And then it broke apart in comical fashion. Hampden Sydney did win their homecoming game.
Oh, yeah, they did.
With one set of goalposts. They beat Gulliford 28-21. So one-way football. They still get the homecoming victory. I want to shout out again Akron backup quarterback Jeff Undercuffler Jr.
The Undercuffler.
I think we shouted him out like before he had to play Tennessee or something.
Yeah.
And they got obliterated by Tennessee. And then we're gonna hear Rocky Top so many times, ridiculously. He got ejected for unsportsmanlike conduct after reacting to an officiating call from the sidelines.
How
and then
bad
they showed the video. He's wearing a headset. He's on the sidelines. He's delivering plays. And he got ejected from the game. Like the commentators in the video were so confused because Akron has 2 players with the number 13, and they were like, he wasn't even on the field. Why are they walking him out? And then they showed the replay. If you can read lips, Jeff Undercuffler Jr. dropped some F-bombs on this referee. And he got his ass tossed. It was so ridiculous. Shout out Jeff Undercuffler Jr. This is our fault for mentioning your name on the podcast. We had a feeling you would probably get mentioned again on the Sickos Committee podcast. We didn't know this would happen, but shout out Jeff. We love you.
Amazing. Speaking of reading lips, there was a clip of Lane going back to the Ole Miss A&M game. There was a clip of Lane after the game yelling at someone. I don't know all of it, but he was using very foul language. It was great. It was great.
Oh, he was yelling at somebody. He's like, "Why don't you fake another fucking injury?"
I think it was an A&M player. Yeah.
He's like, "Why don't you just fake another fucking injury when we get a first down?"
Spicy Lane.
Spicy
Lane.
Lane was feisty. All right.
He called him a little bitch or something. Yeah, it was
great. I mean, it was all lip reading. We don't have video, but you know, again, we love trying to read lips, and we're not like those bad lip reading folks on YouTube or anything like that.
Well, guys, I think we have covered week 9 in as much glory as we can. We will see everyone back for our week 10 preview later on this week. Have a good one.